This is Get Sellers Calling You, and I'm Beatty Carmichael. Learn more at our website at getsellerscallingyou.com. Well, hey there, this is Beatty Carmichael with Agent Dominator, and I want to do something special on today's podcast, and that is I want to walk you through from our experience of what we've seen over the years, and the single most important key that makes geographic farming super profitable. Not just profitable, but super profitable. You can kind of underline that. And for those of you who are listening to this, like maybe in your car or something, this is a video and I'm using a scratch pad. So I'll talk you through. I'm not sure there's going to be a whole lot to see other than a bunch of chicken scratch, but if you did get a chance to watch it by video, you may get more out of it. So anyway, what I wanted to do is just kind of walk you through at a high level the most important thing. And there's actually only one thing, but the challenge is with that one thing is it has multiple tentacles and tenets that kind of build it up and make it really happen. And that is, let me give maybe some background to this before I jump into this. The background is we have clients that will work with us with our Turbo Geo Farming product, and they some get really great results and some are getting very few results. And so they'll call me up and say, Beatty, what can I do? I want to make sure I get the best results. I'm committed to this. I'm spending money on it, and I know geographic farming works. Can you help me? And what's interesting is whenever I go in and look at their account, and I look at the postcards, I look at the mailing, I look at the addresses, I look at all kinds of things and kind of get a picture of what's going on. The issue is always the same thing, okay? It's always the same thing that's going on. But when I look at those other clients that are getting great results and are driving results into their farm and they're earning six figures from it, and I look at what they're doing, it's always the same thing. It's the thing that these guys aren't doing. These guys are in some capacity, okay? And so it's really, you can boil it down to really just that one thing. And that one thing is something that we've all heard, but we haven't really done a good job in defining it. And it is a 5-letter word, okay? And that 5-letter word is called trust. And the challenge is most agents, when they think of trust, they have no real idea what it is. They come up with all kinds of different things. Well, it's because they know you, they know your family, they trust you. Well, that's kind of it, it's part of it, but it's not really it, okay? Others people will say, well, they see you all the time. They trust that you're a successful real estate agent. Well, that's kind of it, that's part of it, but it's not really it, okay? I have to tell a story. We bought a new house, and so we sold our home and upgraded. We're empty nesters, so we triple the size of our home, right? And I was interviewing some agents in my area, and I always ask them, why should I choose you over these other agents I'm talking to? And none of them could give me a good answer. And I started thinking about this because everything I do from a marketing perspective and say, what causes that homeowner to respond? And they had no idea why I should respond to them versus someone else. They just didn't understand this one thing called trust. But once you break through the trust barrier in your geofarm, then what happens is you start to get a lot of listings coming through. One of our agents is a guy named Rodney, and he went out and within, I think it was, so he's in a 1,500 home farm, and after 12 months, he'd already earned his first $100,000 directly from, actually about $150,000 altogether. And then 6 months later, 18 months in the farm, he controlled 22% of all the listings, outselling the number 2 agent by 7 times. 18 months after that, he was at half of all the listings. Another lady named Marla, she starts doing a different approach in her farm, but using the same aspect of trust. And within 2 years, it was a 700 home farm, she was at 48% of all the listings. I mean, another agent, a client of ours, starts a 1,000 home farm. Actually, it's like 960 homes. And in his first 12 months, he not only makes over 6 figures, He's not only the number one agent, okay, but he has, he just went from nothing to number one, and it all ties into this thing called trust. So the question is, what is trust? If you can break it down and understand it, then you can win great money from selling those listings. So there are actually three parts to trust. Each part builds on one aspect of trust, and trust by, with just one or two of these things isn't complete. It's like a three-legged stool. To do it right, you really need all three of them. The first thing is that they need to know that you're always selling. Okay? So the first element of trust is that you're always selling. And you may think that it's intuitive to them that you're always selling real estate, but it's not. This is why you have to always be there in the mail with something, at the very least, like a just sold postcard, at the very most, one of our fully custom sold postcards that we do with our geo farming. But they got to see that you're always selling all the time, and every time they see you, you're always selling. Okay? But then it goes beyond that. The second element of trust is what I call your expertise. And your expertise is, and there's my chicken scratch coming out for you, but the expertise is that they have to trust that you have the expertise to do not only a good job, but a superb job. If you want them to choose you over other agents, they need to know why they should be choosing you over other agents. And most of that is because they trust your expertise. I'm not going to go into too much detail right now. I'll cover that later toward the end. But I just want to get through this element of trust. And then the final thing of trust, and this is the most important part that I want to touch on today, is that they trust you personally. Let me mess that up, so let me write this up again. They trust you personally. Okay? So let me see if I can articulate this to make sense. If you've ever read the book, The Millionaire Real Estate Agent, in the first couple of chapters, it talks about how they took all their studies and they were looking for what type of list, what type of leads is the best leads to target to generate the most sales. And after looking at everything at a really macro level, they came down to the simple conclusion. There are only two types of leads. And if you've ever read the book, you'll know what I'm talking about. One is your met list, and the other is your not met list. Okay? That's it. There are only two types. And what they discovered is once someone has met you, they're more likely to do business with you, significantly more. When we started to look at our data, when we would identify people about to come on the market, we would alert our agents, and then we would track. We would look back a year later and say, okay, out of all these people that had been identified as coming on the market and those who actually went on the market, what happened with the listings with our agents? And we found that you could group our agents into two categories, okay? One that met those homeowners, they actually picked up the phone and called them or they door knocked, and that other group that did not meet them. Would you like to guess the difference between the number of listings? Okay, so let's say that I have 10 homeowners that are going to go on the market, and I have a group of agents that did not meet them. On average, that group of agents would pick up one out of those 10 listings. But those agents who didn't actually go meet that homeowner by phone or knock on the door, they typically got between 9 and 10 listings. Somewhere between a 9 to 10 times increase in the number of listings from that same farm simply because they met that homeowner. Okay? And so that is going to be the most important thing that you can do is when we're looking at this thing called trust. What we want to do is I want to talk about building trust. Okay? So the biggest factor, as I mentioned with this, is that building trust is that they've met you. And I want to talk about how do you apply this to your farm. So before I go fully into how do you apply this into your farm, let's talk about a couple of basics with your geographic farming. I'm going to assume that you have already selected where you're going to farm. Okay? Selected your farm. And if you haven't started farming yet, let me suggest, if you go to my website, I'm just going to pull it up here real quickly for you. If you go to getsellerscallingyou.com and up here in the search bar, just type selecting a farm. I've got some great resources that will help you understand how to select the best farm. Okay, a number of them will come up, but if you look at the first several ones that come up, I did a series on selecting the best geographic farm, and there's like 5 or 6 steps, and you can go through each of these. Are just very short video blurbs, like they're a segment out of an interview, so each one's like 3 or 4 or 5 minutes maybe. But if you go to my actual podcast, this is podcast 15 on how to make geographic farming work, and part 2 is selecting the right farm. Okay, that will walk you through the whole thing as just a podcast. But I would encourage you to go there and first select your farm. So after selecting your farm, the next step is I'm going to assume that you've already gotten your mailing list. Okay, and then what I'm going to show you is predicated on doing one more thing, and that you append your mailing list with both emails and phone numbers. Okay, because what happens is, if you're going to be doing geographic farming, that actually says phones, if you can't read it, which I can't read it, so let me redo that. If you're going to be doing geographic farming, it's imperative that you have a way to reach out and communicate with your prospects in more than just a postcard mailing. Okay, and so you can append your service, append your list. There are different services. If you work with us, we have some people we vetted that do an excellent job. Sometimes if you work with a title company, they can append that for you. So appending your list is important. Now there are 2 things from there. There are 2 parts of doing a farm. Okay, the first part, real simply, is your automated touches. And your automated touches are going to be those things like your postcard mailings, your drip email campaign, targeted Facebook, things that you do that you just kind of set it and forget and just goes on after it. But then there's also what's called a personal engagement. And the personal engagement is the supercharger, assuming that you have your automated touches in place. You can't do one without the other. In terms of if you're going to make money in geographic farming, you need the automated aspect, but you need the personal engagement as well. So what I'm going to do is, for purpose of this training, I'm going to swap these around. Typically, I would talk about automated touches first, but chances are, if you're listening to this, you're one of our clients, and so I'm going to put that down here at the bottom. So if you're not one of our clients and you need some help with automated touches, I'll show you what that is and kind of how to set those things up. But what I really want to talk on now is this whole aspect of personal engagement. Because when I look at our clients and I look at those that are getting great results, those that are not getting great results versus those who aren't are not personally engaging. Those who are personally engaging. It's almost, you can almost cut it right down the middle with personal engagement. And so that's where I want to go with on this call. So let me create a new screen. Okay, so let's talk about personal engagement on this for just a moment. So if you go back to the 3 elements of trust, they trust that you are always selling, they trust that you have the expertise to do a great job, and they trust you individually. Okay, that trust you individually, the fact that they've met you, is the key deciding factor. When you've got all other aspects going on in your farm, it's this personal engagement that will throw you over the top and drive in business faster than you can imagine within that geographic farm. It's the thing that will drive you into the number 1 position and help you hold it. Okay, and it's this whole thing called personal engagement. And there are 3 things with personal engagement that we have found to be probably the most effective. These are not in a particular order, other than it's just the order I like to teach in. So the first one is what I'll call the video email. Okay, and let me talk about video email for just a moment. The video email is simply a easy email, a selfie. You just grab your cell phone and you do a video and you send it out. Okay, but it goes a little bit deeper. But here's the reason for the video email. And by the way, this is the reason to append your list. If you don't have email addresses, you can't send out a video email, okay? Makes sense? So you want to do on the video email something that's going to hold their interest so that they'll want to watch it and watch it all the way through. Because if think about this, if you're watching this video, you get to see me, you get to see my mannerisms, you get to see my smile. And as I talk, you get an idea of who I am. You get a chance to meet me. Once you start to see me visually in video with all of the personality and all of my movements and my tonality, what happens is there's a trust level that increases in your mind because now you get a greater sense of who I am. If I simply sent you something in writing, you don't get that. If I simply sent you a photo of me, like my postcard, here's a postcard with me. If I simply do that, it doesn't do the same thing as a video. And that's what happens in the farm. In that farm, they've never met you. They don't know who you are. They're only getting these postcards in the mail from you. And if you're doing it right, and especially if you're doing it with us, they're getting the postcards in the mail. They're seeing you on Facebook. They're getting these emails, okay? You're kind of touching them from all over, but they still haven't met you. And until they meet you, they don't really trust you unless it's, you can build trust, but it just takes a lot longer time if you do it without a personal engagement. So that video email is very important. And one of the easiest things you can do, especially in today's market with this, really hot sellers market, is share with them what's going on in their neighborhood in terms of sales. Okay, everyone's kind of curious. So the idea is, if you'll go out to, I'm trying to see if I have a prop, and I don't have a prop I can use on this. But imagine that in your neighborhood, let's just call it Crestwood Heights. Okay, that's the farm that you're targeting, Crestwood Heights, wherever that may be. And let's say that this is a subdivision. So they have an entranceway, and there's a wall with, like a brick entrance, and it has Crestwood Heights emblazoned on it, okay? So what I want to do with my video is I want to go to that entrance with that wall behind me. So let's say that this video that you're watching right now is my selfie. I've got my phone up, and this is the selfie. Back behind me is the sign for Crestwood Heights, and it's the entrance, and they see cars coming and going. And now I'm going to do this selfie, and I'm going to say, hey, if you're in Crestwood Heights, do you know what's happened in the last 12 months in real estate in Crestwood Heights? It is amazing. It's gone straight through the roof. Let me give you a couple of statistics. Okay, and now I'm going to share some statistics. I'm going to share days on market. I'm going to share list to sales ratio maybe. I'm going to share average sales price. The typical 4-bedroom, 3-bath house, just 12 months ago was averaging $525,000. Today, that same home is averaging $615,000 in 1 year. Okay, 12 months ago, it averaged 45 days on the market. Today, it's averaging 3 days on the market. What this means is, and then you can go in and explain this, and you can also share what's happening is, okay, and you start, so what you're doing is you're giving them some information that they're interested in. They may not have interest in selling their home right now, but what this is doing is it hits, no pun intended, actually it is intended, it hits close to home, right? It's information that hits close to home, and so they're going to be interested in it. But while you do that, what's happening is you're sharing your expertise. So now they get to trust you as a person, and they start to trust you as an expert realtor, okay? Because you know what's going on. And in that, probably not in that message, but then let's say we do another message. So you want to do these video emails. If we could do a timeline on this, I would say probably every 4 to 6 weeks. You just drip it out, because now it's another touch every 4 to 6 weeks. And as long as it's information that is compelling and something that they're interested in, then they're going to watch it and they're going to appreciate it. So not every video is going to be about selling a home, because that gets old. And if it's an average turnover rate of 5 or 6%, that means you're losing 94 to 95% of your listening audience having any interest at all. So you don't want to focus just on selling homes. You want to focus on something that the mass of the people have interest in, because they may not be interested in selling home now, but they might be interested 12 months from now. So you want to engage them. So we put together, actually a friend of mine put together an ebook, but if you have interest, if you reach out to our support team, if you're one of our clients, we'll be happy to send this out. And it's a book of all kinds of scripts and dialogues that you can use. And included are like 12 different video scripts that are great ideas to do on the video email. So that's the first step, is video email. Let me talk on one other aspect on this because it's important. The other aspect is, how do you do it? And I recommend, if you don't already have a CRM that does video email, that you get one that does. Okay, so just a couple that we've researched. You got Top Producer does it, Lion Desk does it, and probably probably almost every good one does it. Because what happens is, if you don't have a CRM that does video email, then once you get the video, you got to load it to YouTube. You got to get the YouTube link. You then write an email. You load it into MailChimp. You send it out to your list. Okay, and so just a lot of little components. When they click on it, you know who probably clicks on it, but you don't know how long they watch. And when you write that email, it just comes out as, hey, watch this little email. It's all text, and you put a link to the video. And so you're not going to get as high of an engagement on that video, is where I'm going. But if you use a CRM that's set up for video email, then all you do is you load that email to your CRM. You already have your list there, and you write a short message, and you press send. And your CRM will actually take a snapshot of your video. It creates a thumbnail, puts a little play button. So now the engagement is totally different. When they get that email, there's actually press play to play the video, and it's much more enticing, and you get a lot higher engagement. Plus, the CRM will tell you every single one who watched the video and how long they watched it. Okay, so this is all kinds of really additional information that will then help you engage additional marketing to those people. So it's really worth the extra investment to do it with a CRM. So that's the first level of personal engagement. The second level of personal engagement is text messages. Okay, so you can't do text messages unless you've appended the list with phone numbers. That's the second reason we recommend that you append your list. Okay, it makes all this work. And the text messages, this is not text blasting. Okay, it's not simply putting out a blast message. Hey, are you thinking about selling your home? Reach out to me. I sell in Crestwood Heights neighborhood. It's not like that. You're going to get kind of shut down, and you're going to lose the whole personal engagement that we're trying to do is build trust, where they like you, they trust you, they respect you. And if you overstep that boundary, then you've lost everything you work towards. Okay, so we don't want it to come across that way. But what we do want it to come across as personal. Okay, so here's an example of how you can do it. And in this book for our clients, we'll give you, and there's all kinds of different text scripts that you can use. But here's just a real simple one that's real easy. So let's say that you have just sold a home in Crestwood Heights. You can get on their text on your phone and send text messages out. Now, if you have a good CRM that can do a text message for you, they can personalize it so that it looks like a personal message. But the message would come across like this. Let's say that I'm a realtor, and I'm going to send my text message out, and it's going to say, hey John, this is Beatty Carmichael. I'm a realtor in the area. You've probably been getting my postcards. I just sold a home down the street from you, and it's crazy because I still have buyers trying to get into Crestwood Heights, and they can't find a house. Is there any condition in which you consider selling your house? If so, would you please let me know? I really want to get serve my clients. Or just something like that. Okay, that may be a little wordy, but that's the gist. So now what happens is it's a personal message that comes out to that homeowner. And you've connected, you're probably getting my postcards. So now they realize, I recognize that guy on the postcards, and now I'm getting a text message from him. And so what's happening is this homeowner is seeing me on his Facebook feed, right? When he's going on Facebook, he's probably getting some emails from me. He gets my postcard. He's seen me in these video emails. He's starting to get an idea of who I am and trusting me. And now he gets a text message. That when that text message comes out and it's addressing him personally, then what happens is now it's a high-level personal engagement. And so John is probably going to say, not interested right now, but thanks. Okay? It's going to be a personal engagement. It's not going to be a blanket spam text message. And so that's the idea with these text messages. It's another engagement. It's another personal communication between you and that homeowner. And they receive it, if you do it right, they receive it as a personal message. And so they respect that. They also respect the fact that you are proactive as a real estate agent, because they never had a real estate agent be proactive like that. So what happens then is their trust level on your expertise, your professional, your professional persistence and your professional tenacity to go after it starts to increase, and they're thinking, wow, if I sell my home, I want to use that person. Okay. The third thing with the personal engagement is what I call the live engagement, the live interaction. Okay. This is really important as well, because this is where you get to interact back and forth with them. And you can do a live interaction a number of different ways. We recommend the two simplest ways is a phone call and a door knock. Okay. Door knock just based on where you are and people's sentiment with someone knocking at the door. But you can always knock at the door and stand 6 feet away from the door backwards, so that they're not concerned of, with COVID or anything like that. You can wear your mask if you need to, but be at the door, okay, if you can. Because what happens is both of these allow an opportunity for you to interact with them. So let's say it's a phone call, okay? So this is why you append your list with phone numbers, so now you can pick up the phone and call them. And you'll get some voicemails and you'll get some live answers. But on the voicemail, have a simple message, maybe similar to what you're doing with the text message. Hey, I know this is crazy, John. John and Lynn, I know this is crazy. This is Beatty Carmichael. I'm a realtor in the area. You're probably getting my postcards. Always point it back, you're probably getting my postcards, because we want them to realize that you're the person that they keep seeing everywhere, okay? And we want to train them your voice, and we want to train them just your personality. So you say, I know this is crazy, me calling up like this, but I've got buyers. I've just sold a home down the area. I sold another home just 3 months ago, or 2 months ago, or 1 month ago over there, and I've just got buyers wanting to move into Crestwood Heights. I mean, it's a really hot area, as you probably know, and as you know, it's a seller's market, which means these houses don't stay on the market long. And so I'm just doing everything I can to help my buyers find a house there. And I'm just reaching out. Is there any condition in which you'd be willing to sell your house? If there is, could you please call me back? Okay, so that may be a voicemail. If I get them on the phone, I'm going to engage in personal relationship. I'm going to probably use a similar approach, if that's an approach that I can use. Okay, maybe I've just sold a house, or I do have buyers. If that's not the case, go back to this book on the different scripts and use it on how you can engage with people by phone. But the whole idea is, now if you answer the phone and we're engaging, then I can be a real person. We can laugh, we can tell stories. I find out how long you've been there, and we could just go and have a short but a nice conversation. And when I get off the phone, you're going to say, I really like that guy. And the next time you get that postcard in the mail, okay, you're going to say, I like that phone call. I know who he is. And now in your mind, all of these touches are now someone that you've met. This is the key. Once you've met them, you're 8 to 10 times more likely to do business with them. And so another live interaction is that door knock. Go out and engage with them and knock on the doors. If they're not there, have something you can leave, like a little door hanger. Ideally, have a door hanger that leads them to a website that you put together that has a live video of you that engages and introduces who you are as a real estate agent. Okay, so you never leave any opportunity untouched for an opportunity for personal engagement. But on that door knock, it's just, hey, I'm a real estate agent in the area. I know you're probably not thinking about selling your home, and I'm not interested in trying to sell it right now. I just wanted to meet you. I love Crestwood Heights. I've got people clamoring to get in. And, I don't know if you've seen my signage all over, but I've been selling here for years. And I've never met you. And I was in the area. I just wanted to drop in and just say hi, and actually meet you face to face, meet you in person. Okay, you're just going to be having fun. Have some information. In that, you might engage with them if they're ever, are you even planning on thinking about selling in the next 6 months? Because if you are, I've got some information in the car that I can leave with you on some things you can do to get the most money for your home. Okay? Even in a hot seller's market, how you prepare it really makes a big impact on getting tens of thousands of dollars more. So you're just going to drop little hints that will allow them to indicate whether they're thinking about selling or not. And what happens then is these personal engagements do two things, okay? And this is the cool part with all of this. When you start to do the best practices and you do them well, these engagements do two things for you. Number one is they give them a chance to meet you, so now they become a met list and a not met list. The other thing that happens is you can uncover hidden opportunities, right? Because they may be thinking about selling. They may know a neighbor who is thinking about selling. And they may respond. You might prompt them, hey, I know this is crazy, so let's say this is the phone call or face-to-face and you're about to leave, and so you're walking away from the door and say, oh, I know this is crazy. One last question. Do you know of any of your neighbors who are thinking about selling? I mean, you might as well ask while you're there and uncover hidden opportunities. I had one agent that started to do this type of approach, and he's just started a 1,000-home farm. He started to meet the people and door knock, and here's what's interesting. In addition to everything else that we were doing, in his first 7 months, he had 14 listing appointments simply because he met people. I mean, uncovering hidden opportunities, 14 listing appointments in 7 months. So there's really some tremendous opportunities there. Okay, so let's talk about automated marketing for a moment. You're listening to the Get Sellers Calling You podcast. To increase sales from past clients and sphere of influence or from a geographic farm, learn about Agent Dominator. We guarantee your sales in writing or give your money back. To learn more, visit our website at getsellerscallingyou.com and select Agent Dominator from the menu. And now, back to the podcast. This is the other part of doing geographic farming. It's incredibly instrumental and very valuable in getting the results. Normally, I would talk on automated marketing first, but I wanted to cover the personal engagement first because of its importance. So automated marketing, if you're one of our clients, then you don't have to worry about it because we're already doing this. If you're just getting started in geographic farming, you're thinking about doing it yourself, automated marketing is very important because this is what keeps you always in front of your homeowners on an ongoing basis, both so that they understand why they should be choosing you, it's building the trust, and it keeps you top of mind. So there are actually three things as well with automated marketing that makes this work. And I promise you everything wasn't designed to be in threes for this call, but it just works out that way. So in automated marketing, the first thing is your postcard mailings. Okay? If you're going to be doing geographic farming, you really need to be doing postcard mailings. It's the simplest way to do it, and it keeps you always there. And the interesting thing about postcard, if you look at the what's called the duration period of an average touch, if you're doing social media marketing or any type of online marketing, the average duration is like 1 to 3 seconds. They see your ad and poof, they're gone. If it's an email, the average duration is usually between 3 to 5 seconds to as much as 35 to 40 seconds, depending on how engaging that email was. But the average duration for a printed piece is as long as like 17 days, because if it holds their interest, they're going to hold on to it. Even if it doesn't hold their interest, but they're not thinking about selling, they still look at it, they still hold it. It's got all of their attention, and it makes an indelible impression. But what happens is when you do it right, like on the backside, if you start to explain the things that you do, to help your clients' homes get the most money. And these may be things that they can work on with their home in terms of how you fix it up, how you price it, how you prepare it, things of that sort. What we've found interesting is our clients, when they go out on listing appointments, it's not uncommon that their homeowners have kept all these postcards for the last several months because they knew that they were going to be listing. And then they called my client up to come to a listing appointment. And so they said, look, I've got all your postcards here. And they just kind of fan them out. And why did they hold on to them? Because they had information on how to prepare your home so it sells for the most money. So that's how you can kind of structure the postcard. The easiest way to do a postcard, if you're going to do this on your own, is simply to do a just sold postcard. Okay? Because that is, in the simplest format, a very effective just sold postcard marketing. If you want to get more advanced, you can do what we call a customized sold postcard. Customized sold. Okay, this is what we do with our clients with our turbo geo farming. And basically what we do, and you can do something similar on your own, or you can look at us and see if we can help you with it. But the idea is we go through those things that you do that sets you apart from other agents. And then we will match a sale that you've made with the expertise that you do that makes that sale really highlight and be a top level sale. So now every postcard that's coming out is satisfying two of the trust. Okay, so if you remember, there are three elements in trust. They need to see that you're always selling. They need to trust your expertise, and they trust you individually. So when you do a customized sold postcard, they see that you're always selling, and they start to trust your expertise because those postcards articulate your expertise. So that's the first step in automated marketing. When you do this, you don't ever want to start it and then stop it. Okay? And so what happens with a lot of agents is they will do a just sold postcard or whatever type postcard, and they'll initiate it this month, and then they'll wait till next month to initiate the next one. They wait till the next month to initiate it. And what happens is you always get busy. And you forget to do it. You get busy. You're going to do it later. And then finally it drops, and it's been 5 months since you last mailed the last postcard. Even though your homeowners aren't keeping an actual tab of every time they get a postcard from you, they do notice when you abandon the process. So what we recommend you do is go on and set everything up at the beginning of the year. Get all the postcards set up, know what you're going to do, and just make it where if you're going to do a just sold postcard, you literally just copy and paste that just sold into it and drop it in the mail. So it takes no time and effort on your end. What we do on ours is we get everything set up for the customization. We get everything already approved by our client, and then we lock and load it, and we have it set up so that every postcard automatically sends out a just sold, or automatically sends out a sold. But the agent, our client, only handles it one time at the very beginning and then never has to touch it. And because of that, it's fully automated. And because it's fully automated, it always comes out. And what that does is it increases the trust level kind of unconsciously in your homeowners, because they see that you're always there. Okay, there's just something about that that's been real powerful. Now, the second thing in terms of automated marketing is going to be what I call targeted Facebook ads. And a targeted Facebook ad, Facebook has an element called a custom audience. It's where you get to load a list of people that you want to target, okay? And then they'll match that list with their subscribers and try to connect them. So this is what we do with our clients. And this is also why you need to append your list, because if you send into Facebook the emails and the phone numbers that you append, then it gives them a greater chance of matching those homeowners in your list with their subscribers. And so now you can push ads to them on an ongoing basis. And so now they're seeing you in the mail with the postcards, and now as they're going through their Facebook feeds, they're seeing you as well. What we do is very simply, we create just a simple branding ad. It's basically focused around making sure that the name, the face, the branding, and the high-level expertise reasons, why should you choose this person, are always there. and then we send it out somewhere between 4 and 8 times every month. Okay, so what this does is it's not really designed, though it's not designed so much to generate a lead of someone thinking about selling. Okay, that's an element of it, but the primary purpose of the targeted Facebook ads is this overall multi-channel touch that's constantly touching your homeowners from every angle and every direction possible. So now, as they're scrolling through their Facebook feed, they see you every couple of times a week, okay? And they see you, and they see you, and they see you. Then they get a postcard from you. They see you. They get a video email from you, and they see you. And then maybe they get a text from you, and then they get a phone call, and they see you, okay? And so what's happening now is you're everywhere. And as you are everywhere, it just kind of raises and heightens their level of acuity that you're the person to choose if they're going to think about selling their home. The third and final thing on the automated marketing is an email campaign. We call ours Monday Morning Coffee. Okay? Now this is important. A couple of things are important with this. Okay? First off, one of the things we find is if you start the email campaign as soon as you start your farm, you're going to get a real high opt-out rate because now you're just spam. They don't know who you are, okay? They haven't met you yet. So what we do with our clients is we typically delay the sending of those emails for about 3 months. What we want to do is make sure that that homeowner has started having a chance to see them over and over again through Facebook, get several postcards, get some of those video emails, maybe get a phone call. They start to see all of these things, and then comes the email. Because now that they trust that agent and recognize that agent, they're going to be less likely to immediately unsubscribe. The other thing with the email is you need content that is universal. Okay? Universal, not only universal, but watch this, it's universally desired. I've seen some emails that I have no interest in. And in fact, a loan officer that I did business with started putting me on this corporate drip email. And I hated them so much, I actually started to hold on to them as stupid email campaigns, what not to ever send out to your prospect, because they were really that bad. Okay, so not all emails are the same. So make sure you have content that your homeowners really desire, and then that gives you a reason to send it out. What we do with our emails, because ours kind of passed that sniff test of, do I really want this? And they really do. We send ours out twice a month. Okay. So now if you think about frequency, let's go back to the postcard. The postcard, best frequency is going to be 18 times a month. So that's basically 1.5 times every 3 weeks. Okay, 1.5 times a month, 18 times a year. So when you start to look at this, so I've got a postcard that's going out 18 times a year. I've got targeted Facebook ads that are going out between 50 and 100 times a year. I've got email campaigns that are going out 25 times a year. And then you're sending out video emails every 4 to 6 weeks, so that's somewhere between 8 and 12 times a year. You're doing a personal text message a couple of times a year. You're engaging by phone. So now what happens is everywhere they go, you're always there. You're always there in their neighborhood with expertise, with another sale, being personal, and that is how you dominate that farm. So hopefully this has been helpful. Let me show you one last thing, okay? So I'm back on my website. And on the website, if you just type in the word GeoFarm, all one word, GeoFarm, and press enter, I have a number of things that we put together on geographic farming. You hear my dog in the background. One of the pleasures of working from home. And but on this GeoFarming is all kinds of materials, podcasts, and blogs, and things that we put together over the years. And this is kind of a consolidation of the best. And down here, this is why I wanted to show this to you. One of the podcasts we did on our podcast version 20 and 21 were the top 10 low-cost ways to touch your farm. Okay? So if you'll listen to those things and choose additional things that you can do, they're free to low cost, but they keep you always in front. And then I have to share one other couple of stories. You'll see these are 2 interviews I did, one with Marla, one with Stuart. Both are earning multiple 6 figures. Marla was one of my favorite interviews I've ever done on geographic farming because she had no idea how good she was. Okay, have you ever seen like American Idol or Britain's Got Talent or America's Got Talent, and you have this really shy person that comes out on the stage and they don't know what they're doing, and all of a sudden they start to sing and they just bring the house down. It's a huge success. And the thing that happens is they did not realize how good they were. That's Marla. She was one of the most exciting interviews I've done because she started a farm in a 700 home farm, and with very little money and not even trying to kind of quote unquote farm it, within about 2 years, I think it was, maybe 2.5, she controls 48%, if I remember the right number, 48% of all of the listings, making multiple 6 figures, and she didn't even expect to do it. She just kind of started this once a month little deal. You really have to listen to it and enjoy it. But hopefully this gives you an idea of the number one key to driving incredible profits with her farm is this whole idea of trust. And trust is built out of personal engagement. It's built out of automated marketing. It's built out of showing people your sales, explaining your expertise, and having them to have a chance to meet you either in person or vicariously through your voicemail, through the video and other things like that. And when you do that trust, everything explodes. So hopefully this has been helpful. Thanks for watching. And if we can serve you, just come to our website, agentdominator.com. Have a blessed day, and we'll talk to you later. If you've enjoyed this podcast, be sure to subscribe to it so you never miss another episode. And please like our Get Sellers Calling You Facebook page. Also, if you want to increase sales from past clients and sphere of influence, dominate a geographic farm, or convert home valuation leads, check out our Agent Dominator program. We create custom content that differentiates you from other realtors, then use it to keep you top of mind with your prospects with postcards, targeted Facebook ads, email campaigns, video interviews, and more. And the best part is we guarantee your sales or give all your money back. Learn more at GetSellersCallingYou.com and select Agent Dominator in the menu. Thanks for listening to the Get Sellers Calling You podcast. Have a great day.